We're doing the child of 22 that has two separate branches. That's right, today for our next highway in our 22 series, we're doing US Highway 222 and its two associated state highways. While US 222 is the shortest 22 child at only 95 miles, those 95 miles are very important as it connects Lancaster with Reading and Allentown. Also, Maryland 222 and Pennsylvania Highway 222 act as extensions of US 222, so combine all three of these highways make up a total of 110 miles. So let us get started with V222. But first, you're watching the TheDerpHog, where I make highways content on all sorts of different topics. If you've been enjoying it, be sure to hit that like button, and if you've been really enjoying it, be sure to smash that subscribe button so you're notified on all future videos. And if you really want to help out the channel, become a member today, where you get custom cool emojis, early access to future videos, along with one free extra request per month. And if you don't want to become a member, you can always just pay $3 for a intersection request in future videos. Those highways will be listed down in the description below, and I'll make sure to shout you out when that video releases. So let's get on with the highway. As you can see here, this is the map of the 222, as Maryland 222 is in the left here, US 222 is in the center, and then Pennsylvania Highway 222 is on the right. And the colored portion is the part I've been on personally. So with that, we're northbound of the 222. So we begin here on Maryland Highway 7 here in Perryville, where we do get a sign telling us that there is a recognition for Maryland 222, so that is pretty cool. And our first major junction on Maryland 222 is with US Highway 40, and if we take a look on US 40, we can see our northbound control city is now Port Deposit, which is okay for a state route, as Maryland 222 actually doesn't really pass through anything besides Port Deposit and Perryville. Here we meet with Interstate 95 being signed for Baltimore and New York respectively, though I do gotta ask why MDOT jumps straight up towards New York instead of signing Philadelphia. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's pretty cool seeing New York being signed in the state of Maryland. It's very interesting why they chose it. Here we meet with Maryland Highway 275, as they'll take you up towards actual US 222 and towards Rising Sun, while we're going to be heading towards Port Deposit still. In fact, we get a one-liner for just Port Deposit from 3 miles away. Here we meet with Maryland Highway 276 in downtown Port Deposit, and it looks like a nice little town here. Here we meet the northern terminus of Maryland Highway 222 at US Highway 1, and we're going to be following 1 northbound as we head towards 2 US 222, as US 222 is not concurrent with US 1 here, so I don't know why MDOT does not have a 2 222. It looks like that they're copying NCDOT from a couple years ago with 19 and 276. Here is the actual beginning to US Highway 222 here in Conowingo, and we're going to be taking a left turn here. Here we get a 1-line mileage sign for Lancaster from 28 miles away, which is pretty cool to see. And we're now entering into the state of Pennsylvania. Oh boy. But hey, we get a pretty awesome mileage sign once we enter into the state. We get Lancaster on the top line and Harrisburg as our primary. So it looks like that they're favoring Interstate 283 / Pennsylvania 283 here. So that is awesome to see and definitely deserves a rare W. Anyways, we come back to reality once we meet with Pennsylvania Highway 272, as that'll be the faster route up towards Lancaster. We're going to be heading into Quarryville now. Here in Quarryville, we meet with Pennsylvania Highway 372, as 372 eastbound will take you over to 472. And we're going to be following 372 westbound. Man, there's a lot of X72 highways in this region of Pennsylvania. Here we get another mileage sign with Lancaster still in the bottom line from 13 miles away, and Willow Street on the top. Here in downtown Lancaster, we meet with Pennsylvania Highway 462, and this is actually the furthest north that I've been on US Highway 222. I was actually in the Lancaster area back when I went to Gettysburg in 2022 for a cool mini trip. Here we meet with Pennsylvania Highway 23. And skipping ahead, we're now going to be joining with US Highway 30, as it'll take you towards York and Harrisburg westbound, while we're now getting signed for Reading and Philly for eastbound. Here's where we split off from US Highway 30, as that'll head up towards Philly, and we're now going to be heading north towards Reading now. On our way to Reading, we meet with Pennsylvania Highway 772, so there's another X72 highway, as it's being signed for Brownstown and Rothsville. And if we take a look on Pennsylvania 772, we're now getting signed for Ephrata. I mean, it would be pretty cool to see Reading, because that's where we were being signed for at the split from US 30, but Ephrata is still a pretty sizable place, and we also meet with US 322 there, so I guess it's an okay secondary, but Reading would be preferred. Here in Ephrata, we meet with US Highway 322, and it's all getting signed for Ephrata, nothing for eastbound. Here in Denver, Pennsylvania, we meet with the northern terminus of Pennsylvania 272, along with the Pennsylvania Turnpike here. And if you actually take 76 westbound here, that actually will take you over towards the real Denver. So I guess the sign kinda makes sense. Skipping ahead to the Reading area, we're now meeting with US Highway 222 Business, which is getting a different control setting than Reading. While we're now getting signed for Allentown now. Still in Reading, we meet with US Highway 422. We're now going to become concurrent with eastbound 422 as we head towards Reading and Allentown still. Here's where we split off from 422, as it's now getting signed east for Pottstown, and 222 is now just getting signed solely north for Allentown. And we're actually going to be talking more about 422 next week, so stay tuned for that. Here we get another mileage sign with Allentown as our primary from 31 miles away, so that is cool to see. Here in Tuckerton, we meet with Pennsylvania Highway 61. Now we get another mileage sign with Allentown still as our primary from 26 miles away. And here we meet with Pennsylvania Highway 100 on the outskirts of Allentown. And here we are going over Interstate 476, as we do not have a direct interchange with it, sadly. You have to use Interstate 78 to get there. And here is US 222's northern terminus at Interstate 78 in Pennsylvania 309. As 78 westbound is getting signed west for Harrisburg, which is a great choice. And 78 eastbound should be signed for New York City, not Bethlehem. And here's an odd quirk. If we actually continue on, we're now on Pennsylvania Highway 222, which basically just serves as an extension of US 222, because for some random reason, AASHTO rejected PennDOT's request to extend US 222 into downtown Allentown, when we have several other US highways that end at state routes. Like for example, US 29 ends at Maryland 99, US 98 ends at Florida A1A, and then we also have US 301, which ends at Delaware Highway 1. So there are plenty of US highways that end at state highways in major cities. So I have no idea why AASHTO rejected to extend US 222 into downtown Allentown. This just is completely stupid. And for once, PennDOT actually did something correct. It's just that AASHTO rejected them. Like, come on, man. Anyways, here we are entering into downtown, and we're now going to be taking a turn onto 15th Street here. You can also stay straight on this current road, but signage actually follows 15th Street here. And then signage also turns onto Walnut Street here. And here is our northern terminus at Pennsylvania 145, which will actually take you into the heart of downtown here. So with that, me turning around and doing southbound the 222. So we begin here on Pennsylvania Highway 145, and even here in downtown Allentown, we're getting a reassurance shield for US Highway 222. But no, AASHTO had to reject that, so this is technically an error shield by AASHTO. Come on. And here is the actual start at Linden Street, and Pennsylvania 222 is going to be following it. And here we turn back onto 15th Street as we're going to be heading away from US 22. And here we get a junction Pennsylvania Highway 222 shield. And if we take a look in the distance, there's another US 222 shield. So this proves that this should be actual US 222, not just Pennsylvania 222. Like, why was it rejected to extend it to downtown Allentown? Anyways, our next two control cities are now for Reading and Kutztown. And here is the start of US Highway 222 at Interstate 78. And it looks like that this direction, Interstate 78, is now getting signed for Allentown. So, PennDOT can't make up its mind whether for 78 to be signed either for Allentown or Bethlehem. It should be New York City either way. Also, we're getting a PA 476 Turnpike shield instead of an actual Interstate 476 shield. So, whoopsie there. And here at the exit for 78 eastbound, we're now getting pull through for US 222. Here we get our first mileage sign with Reading as our primary from 30 miles away. And here is where we meet with Pennsylvania Highway 100, and 222 is now going to be continuing south towards Reading still. And then further up the road, we're now getting signed for Reading from 12 miles away. I mean, I would prefer to now start seeing Lancaster on this line because we're only 12 miles out from Reading, and plus Maiden Creek is not even anything. It's a neighborhood where we meet a Pennsylvania state highway, so why is it on this mileage sign? But luckily, after going through Maiden's Creek, we're now getting Lancaster as our primary from 40 miles away, so yay. Here we meet with Pennsylvania Highway 61 once again. Now we're meeting with US Highway 422, and now getting signed for Lancaster and Lebanon. Here's where we split off from 422 as they'll head west towards Lebanon. I mean, you could also throw on either like Hershey or Harrisburg there instead of just Penn Avenue. And we're now getting signed for solely for Lancaster still. Now we're getting another mileage sign. We get Effort on the top line from 15 miles away, and Lancaster as our primary from 28 still. Here we meet with Interstate 76 and the northern terminus of Pennsylvania Highway 272 once again. Here we meet with US Highway 322, still getting signed for Ephrata and no other control city. Here in the Lancaster area, we meet with US Highway 30, and we're now going to become concurrent with US 30 westbound. And here's where we split off from US Highway 30 as I'll head towards York and Harrisburg because of Pennsylvania 283. They're now getting signed for downtown Lancaster because we haven't made it to downtown yet. Here in downtown Lancaster, we actually meet with Pennsylvania 23 and 462, so yay. And here's a pretty cool looking view of downtown Lancaster, which is a nice little city. And here on the outskirts of Lancaster, we are meeting the road that will take you back up towards downtown. And for some reason, we actually have a mileage sign right on top of these two shields, as we're now getting signed for Quarryville. Anyways, here in Quarryville, I meet with Pennsylvania Highway 372. And now we're getting signed for Baltimore once we reunite with Pennsylvania Highway 272, so that is an awesome choice once again. But sadly, PennDOT does not reflect that on our next mileage sign. We just get Port Deposit, Maryland from 16 miles away. US 22 doesn't even go there. They're favoring Maryland Highway 222 here. No, that should be Baltimore. If you're signing Baltimore at the split with 272, they should be on this mileage sign. Anyways, we're now entering back into the state of Maryland, and it looks like that MDOT has made an error shield here because we're not even to Maryland 222 yet. And here is the southern terminus of US Highway 222, and it looks like that they're doing the same thing here for Maryland 222 as they did at its northern terminus. So it's just confusing. And we actually saw this on the US 1 southbound video, and we're actually now going to be following Maryland Highway 222, so yay. Here in downtown Port Deposit, we meet with Maryland 276 once again, and it looks like that we have a 3-digit shield for Interstate 95, which is kind of funny. Here we meet with Interstate 95 once again, being the same control cities that we saw going northbound. Here we meet with US Highway 40 once again, And then here we end in Perryville at a junction with Maryland Highway 7. And we get this nice little cute sign telling us all about Perryville and it being recognized as US Highway 7. Which is not an error shield because it's just on this one sign. It's not like Maryland 7 is being signed as US 7 here in the city. So with that, we end the 222 and move on to the way it should be. So these are the places that I think should be signed on the 222. Going northbound, I'd start off with Port Deposit. And then once we meet with US 1, I would sign it for Philadelphia. And once US 222 actually begins, sign it for Lancaster, then Reading, then Allentown. Then going southbound, I would start off with Reading, with PennDOT, then Lancaster, then Baltimore because of US 1 once again, and then Port Deposit, and then finally Perryville. And that ends the 222. Thank y'all so much for watching this episode on US Highway 222. It was a lot of fun following the two separate branches and learning a little bit more about this highway, as it is a very short highway but it goes through a densely populated area. Anyways, for our final two highways of the 22 series, we're going to be doing 422 next week, and then finally ending it with 522 for the week after that. So if you have any requests for 422 or 522, please let me know down in the comment section below, and I'll make sure to shout you out once these highways release. So, thank you once again, and we'll see y'all next week as we do 422.